Hello everyone, I am Genevieve Wood and I am joined here in the lobby of the Heritage Foundation by our Heritage President, Kay Coles James. Hello,
Hi,
Kay.
how are you?
I'm doing well, and we have a visitor with us here,
We sure
James
do.
McGann, who is from the University of Pennsylvania, where you are the Director of Think Tanks in the Civil Society Program.
Right, at the Lauder Institute.
At the Lauder Institute. And we're here, Kay, because we're hosting at least the first day of the North American Think Tank Summit. Why was this important for Heritage?
Well, actually, we are co-hosting, and we are delighted to have you here, Jim.
Glad to be here.
It is so important because I think that the roles that think tanks can play today in a civil society is a lot different from what it used to be. Universities used to be the center of all of that kind of activity, and the world has changed a little bit. And we at Heritage, as you know, Genevieve, want to be on the forefront. We want to be influencing what's going on in our country. So it's important to bring all the think tanks together, have the opportunity to share best practices, to share what works, and to all move towards our common goal of a better America.
Yeah. Well, and this is the North American Summit, so we're going to have
yes,
folks here from Mexico and from Canada and
all the Americas.
All the Americas, that's right. Jason, let me ask you, you've been following the think tank arena for a long time. How have think tanks evolved in your view?
Well, I mean, I'm very pleased to be back at Heritage. Ed and I, Ed Follner, go back to my days in writing my dissertation. So my dissertation was comparing how is Brookings different than Rand, different from Heritage. And Ed I interviewed Ed and Lee Edwards, sort of people who have been here since the inception. And it's an important model and have followed it closely and in terms of the mix of institutions is critical. And this is one summit of 10 summits that I do around the world in every region, and it's to create a global community of think tanks. Why this meeting is so important is that it's really not focusing on the policy issues so much, although we do look at those. It's really what are the challenges, what are the threats, how can we do what we do better. And if you look at the program in terms of the digital challenges, so historically the threats were really, and competition was between one think tank and another when I first did my dissertation. Now it's law firms, consulting firms, lobbyists, and increasingly now Google is setting up a think tank, so I think that's a huge threat. They, as we're seeing over the last couple of days, so the agenda for this meeting, everything that possibly is in the front and center of the paper, whether it's the digital issues with Facebook testifying before Congress or Cambridge Analytica, all of that will be touched on somewhere within the agenda over the next day and a half.
Yeah, and you've talked about a lot, and Kay, you know this very well, but I mean, the landscape has changed a lot. It's a much more crowded space, a noisier space. How do you see Heritage? I mean, you're fairly new as our president here. You've been on the board. How do you see Heritage taking up the challenges of what it means to be a think tank, an effective think tank today?
Well, I think if anyone knows the answer to that, it's the people who reside within this building, because as you know, Heritage is one of the most, if not the most effective think tank, and effective in that the ideas, the things that we care about, we can actually shepherd them through the public policy process and see them become reality. But I think the good news for the American people is, and I don't want this to get missed, and it's a congratulations to you,
Well,
because
don't miss it.
because we truly want to see more dialogue. We want to see people coming together from different perspectives to solve the important problems of the day. So while there's so much noise going on in the political arena, we actually are coming together as think tanks to talk through and work through some of these important issues. And I think that we sometimes have a better shot at getting it done in the think tank world than they actually do in the political arena.
Because we're dealing with truly ideas, not just politics.
That's right, and we don't have to get reelected. We can go straight for true north, base our opinions on research and analysis and data, and are not hampered by the political environment.
James, let me ask you this, and this is specifically a heritage-related question since we're here. When you look at heritage, what are we doing well compared to the larger landscape, would you say?
I mean, I hate to harken back to my dissertation again.
That's all right.
But the focus of it was on strategy and structure. And I think from the earliest days, I've always focused, and Ed, sort of in discussions with Ed about this, that the strategy and structure of heritage introduced a number of innovations. People were terrified by it, and the reality is that heritage entering the space and the innovations that were introduced, and the fact, I think, in terms of the culture and leadership, in terms of being a techie and being on the outer edge, and the fundraising, all of those things are innovations which were years ahead of other institutions. And for that reason, and I think the challenge of the moment and the future is to continue to be on the cutting edge, which you continue to be. And in terms of that's, I think, both the genius and the success of heritage.
And one of the reasons that we're doing what we're having today, we have the Daily Signal, our multimedia platform, and doing the TV side of it here is because we want to try to get the message beyond just Washington and the think tank folks here and even the politicians here to the larger community.
And you do a great job of that at the Daily Signal.
We
really
try
do.
very hard. Well, this is going to be an exciting summit. Anything that it's really going to be a lot of just smart people in the room. Anything particular about it that you'd want to share with the audience?
Well, one, we have the largest gathering of think tanks in North America that has ever taken place, and at I think probably the most critical and pivotal moment in terms of our history. And as echoing what Kay said, I think that part of what I'm trying to do is bring the think tank community together, because I think the challenges are not within, the challenges are outside. And if we don't think about and come up with creative solutions, I think one of the problems is that the choices we have, or policymakers have, are very narrow. And it will require a deeper a more creative thinking about what are the policy solutions. One, and I think we can do that together, and this group is the place where that will happen. And then secondly, the digital challenges, the threats of and opportunities that are presented by artificial intelligence, big data, that think tanks need to incorporate those into their operations and thinking about that. And I think the reason why people are willing to come together, these institutions, which are very diverse, is because they understand the threats and the challenges and have a part of the idea of the solution, and are looking to others to help think that through. That's why so many of the institutions from North America are coming to this. It's the largest gathering, and I think probably the most interesting and dynamic agenda we've had in the 5 or 6 that we've done thus far.
And Genevieve, I just think it's important for our supporters, our donors, the people who watch Daily Signal every day, the people who come to our websites for knowledge and information, to understand the role that heritage plays here. We really do want to position ourselves as a leader in the think tank community, and we want to share what we've learned. I think we're only stronger when there are other think tanks around us that we can agree with and spar with as well. We get better policy as a result of that.
One final note, I would say that it's important for the think tank community to be not only perceived, but in reality to be part of the solution and not perceived as part of the problem.
Well, that's what we're all here for.
Yes.
Right.
Thank you very much for being here. I think it's going to be an exciting summit. We'll look forward to
Yes.
hearing some of the fun stuff that comes out of it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you all for joining us here. We will see you back here next time.